Lab-grown diamonds, are they real? Are they identical? Here are the answers. I had a client come in last week vehemently opposed to lab-grown diamonds. And then at the same time, I have a client right now who is absolutely thrilled about creating her engagement ring with a lab-grown. It's like there's this camp on one side that's singing, and some don't care where it came from. They just wanna. And then there's some who are totally on the fence about how they feel, especially if they have the budget for a natural diamond, but they wonder if it makes sense to pay less for a lab diamond. For example, one client reached out saying, my budget is around $35,000 to $40,000 max for an earth mine diamond. I'm not 100% opposed to lab-grown diamonds though. I'm just not there yet, if ever. And I do have some reservations about lab diamonds, feeling like it's a fake diamond, and I'm trying to weigh all my options before making a decision because honestly, it's a bit scary and I don't want any regrets. This is definitely a polarizing topic and I want to know what you think in the comments. In the meantime, let's dive in. I'm Vanessa Nicole from Vanessa Nicole Jewels, where I create custom diamond rings for clients all over the world. And the custom ring process usually starts with me curating a selection of diamonds for a client. And never before have I had to have conversations about what kind of diamond they want. But within the last few years, lab diamonds have made a huge splash within the market. Now there has to be a distinction made with every client about what type of diamond they prefer, so they'll be informed about what type of diamond they'll be purchasing. A lab-grown diamond is a diamond that's been created in a laboratory setting rather than naturally grown in the earth over billions of years. Yes, that's billions with a B. The lab imitates the exact same pressure, temperature, and chemical vapor deposition needed for a diamond to form, except it's in a controlled environment. The outcome is the exact same, which is a diamond that is 100% crystallized carbon. Therefore, the only difference is the diamond's origin. It's pretty impressive technology, actually.
Most impressive.
Okay, let's talk about the confusion as to whether or not lab-growns are identical to natural diamonds. There is language circling this topic that confuses the marketplace, so I want to set the record straight and help you make your own informed decision about whether or not the technicalities matter to you. Some jewelers say they are identical because visually they are identical to both trained and untrained eyes. Technically, they're not identical if lab equipment can tell them apart. For example, many paintings are tested and examined to make sure that they're authentic, but to the eye, they may look the same. See, most lab-growns have an inscription on the girdle of the diamond, which is the outermost edge of the diamond. So using a loupe, you can quickly identify it from this added feature. But chemically, each is a diamond. Just one is grown in a lab and the other is grown in the earth. Now, whether or not lab-grown diamonds are real is a completely different conversation than if they are identical. The New York Times published an article in August 2023 titled, "My Girlfriend Wants a Real Diamond Ring. Can it be lab-grown instead?" This opened up a debate about deception and whether or not it should even be defined as deception if a lab-grown is now considered a real diamond by the FTC, even if the market hasn't caught up yet. So whether or not you consider them to be real is a conversation to have over dinner with friends. But while the FTC originally defined a diamond as a natural mineral consisting essentially of pure carbon crystallized in the isometric system, now the definition is the same, just missing the word natural. That being said, here's what the Federal Trade Commission says. To avoid the risk of deceiving consumers about the type of jewelry a store offers, advertisers selling simulated or laboratory-created diamonds should disclose that the products aren't mined diamonds. Describing simulated or laboratory-created diamonds merely as diamonds without more would likely convey the false impression to consumers that they're buying mined diamonds. And I'll link that URL in the description below so you can see it there as well. So it does seem to point out that they acknowledge a diamond, whether it's natural or lab, is indeed a real diamond due to it having the same optical, physical, and chemical properties as a diamond. But jewelers are required to distinguish what type now, especially since the price varies so dramatically between each type. One colleague stated, a Camaro RS and a Camaro SS are not identical, but they are both Camaros. And without arguing the merits of why one would like them or not like them, it is certain that if they were indeed identical, a differentiation could not be made. To further elaborate on this point, I actually have identical twins, and they are incredibly different and have been from the start, both physically and in personality, despite being technically considered identical. In fact, they are different enough that it warranted me sending their DNA for testing to make sure that they are, in fact, identical twins. And while the data did come back as confirming they're identical, I still feel that they are different. Ultimately though, it wouldn't matter to me if they were physically identical or not, because how I feel about them is completely unrelated to whether or not they're considered biologically identical. So both being considered a real diamond, it does not make them identical because by definition, they're not identical if my testing equipment can tell them apart. However, you could say visually they are identical. Often when I'm creating a diamond selection for clients, we'll be seeking out what we consider eye clean diamonds, which means the inclusions in the diamond are not visible to the naked eye. So if I find an eye clean SI clarity diamond and visually without magnification, the clarity appears the same as a VVS clarity diamond because your naked eye cannot see the inclusion, that doesn't mean they're identical, but the financial value between the two is very different. And my point here is not to say that one is better than the other, they simply have different origin stories. And since I mentioned the word value, financial value has nothing to do with a piece of jewelry being a treasured heirloom. And in my professional and personal opinion, tying heirloom status to only pieces with significant financial value is not ideal. At the time of this video, I do offer both lab and natural diamonds to my clients, and the reason I qualify this time period is because these diamonds do have a newer position within the market compared to natural diamonds, and just like any jeweler, we have no idea how they will evolve within the marketplace over the next decade. I mean, people can make predictions, but no one really knows for sure. And there have been predictions about successful use cases in entirely different sectors, but specific to diamond engagement rings, the market decides, which is part of what makes this such a fascinating conversation. Another colleague within the diamond industry stated,
"On a molecular level, they are identical. What makes the diamond a diamond and not a lab-grown diamond is based on the art of Mother Nature. Think about it. More than 1 billion years ago, a piece of graphite or other crystalline carbon deep under the Earth's crust, approximately 75 to 120 miles below the surface, was subjected to temperatures of 1600 to 2300 degrees Fahrenheit. The pressure that this random source of carbon was under is like the pressure of the top of the Eiffel Tower balanced on your fingertip. Imagine the pressure. All of these things come together to create a scenario that transforms the carbon into a diamond crystal by Mother Nature. 1 billion years in the making. How can that be the same as someone introducing the right gases, temperature, and pressure to an already existing natural diamond crystal to growing a lab-grown diamond in 2 to 4 weeks to be the same? It's like saying a Picasso made by Picasso is the same as one painted by another person. It's not. It's a replica of the original. Just like lab-growns are a replica grown from a natural crystal diamond in an unnatural state. Yes, you need technology to tell the difference, the same way you need technology to see the difference of a replicated Picasso versus the original. Both are products that can be used in our industry, but our job is to be transparent to our customers and forthcoming versus what people are doing today in some jewelry stores.
So he is very passionate about his stance, and the confusion with the market seems to stem from the word real and identical. And are they real diamonds? Yes. Are they identical? This is where it becomes confusing to the market. But this argument was settled the minute the FTC considered lab-grown diamonds as real. In the mind of the consumer, they are real, and there are plenty of reasons to purchase natural over lab-grown and plenty of reasons to purchase lab-grown over natural, but debating realness can technically no longer be a part of the conversation. The jewelry industry is talking itself in circles about this topic. Another colleague stated, "What throws a wrench in the conversation is why then did the FTC insist on calling it a lab-grown diamond or man-made diamond? They specifically said it cannot be called just a diamond." Interesting. And consumers are having an entirely different conversation. You see, some men want to surprise their future wife with a ring, but they wonder if she would care about the origin because some women just love the romantic idea of it taking 1 billion years to create it naturally over time, and they'd be okay with a smaller diamond for the same price as a lab-grown that's larger. But others would prefer a large rock and want to put those funds toward, let's say, a house down payment. So some sneer at the concept of lab-grown diamonds equally as much as others sneer at mine diamonds. Now, it's important to note that a lab-grown diamond is not to be confused with lab-grown cubic zirconia or lab-grown moissanite, all of which have completely different chemical compositions to an actual diamond while also being created in a lab. And the reason I mentioned this is that jewelers have heard about consumers purchasing what they thought was a lab-grown diamond, only to find out later that it was a lab-grown moissanite or cubic zirconia. For example, one colleague recently said, "A customer recently purchased a lab-grown diamond from my store, and a day after the payment was sent, they sent me a link to the same size lab-grown diamond from somewhere else for less money. And after scrolling the webpage, I found the real details. The halo and shank had lab-grown diamonds, but the center stone was a moissanite. I had to scroll way down the page to even find this out, and it was in small print. This could not have been more misleading." What do you think? Pop your opinion in the comments. I mean, in my experience, many couples are ring shopping together, and now it's just part of the conversation because depending upon the ages of the couple, the time of a marriage comes oftentimes with other large financial choices, such as graduate school or house hunting or wedding planning and potentially kids if they're in the near future. I mean, oh my gosh, there's so many variables to base this decision on. If you're looking for a diamond ring, whether it's lab grown or natural, feel free to reach out to my studio at vanessanicole.com. I would love to create one for you, and I'll help you select an absolutely gorgeous one because as a diamond setter, it doesn't matter to me which one you choose because I'm gonna make a gorgeous setting for it either way. And if you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up and comment about your favorite part, or subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I'd really appreciate that. And in the meantime, thank you for watching. I hope this was helpful. I'm wishing you a beautiful rest of your day. Bye.